Hi there. This is just a short video that kind of reviews the type of problems in section 2.1 and knowing what formulas to use. So the first type of problem might be like this. Hope you can see that. And this is from your book. So remember, you can use your online book to look through examples. So they just gave me a couple of quadratics. So this is the transformations. So this is the parent function flipped upside down and translated 1 up. This is the parent function translated 2 to the left and 3 down. So then you should be able to sketch those translations. So that is one type of problem from 2.1. The next one is like this one, where you're identifying the vertex. So this is example 2, and the equation was f of x equals x squared plus 8x plus 7. So if you have to find the vertex, let me move that so you can see it, you have to start with finding the axis of symmetry, and that is that formula. So when they ask for vertex or axis of symmetry, you're going to start with this. Remember, a is the coefficient in front of the x squared, b is the coefficient in front of the x, c is the constant that hangs off the end. So a equals 1, b equals 8, c equals 7. So the axis of symmetry for this would be negative 8, negative b is 8, over 2 times a. So that would be negative 8 divided by 2, which would be negative 4. So that is, if I'm finding my vertex, that is the x portion of the vertex. Now, to find the y portion of the vertex, I'm going to take this x equals negative 4 and substitute it into my original function. So instead of x squared, it's going to be negative 4 squared plus 8 times negative 4 plus 7. And that would be 16 minus 32 plus 7. 16 minus 32 is negative 16 plus 7, so that would be negative 9. So my vertex is at negative 4, negative 9. My axis of symmetry is x equals negative 4. Remember, axis of symmetry needs to be written as a line, so it's got to be an equation, x equals negative 4. So when finding the vertex, start with x equals negative b over 2a. The other type of problems are going to be when you're finding the x-intercepts. Now remember, they might phrase it as find the x-intercepts. They might say solve. They might say find the zeros. They might say find where f of x is equal to 0. So check your notes and remember that those are all the same things. So those are the equations where I want to factor. Negative x squared plus 6x minus 8. And this in your book is example 3. So I need to factor to find zeros, to find where f of x is equal to 0, to find solutions, or to find roots. So if f of x is 0, I have 0 equals negative x squared plus 6x minus 8. If you have a negative out front, get rid of that, because that makes the factoring hard. So factor out that negative 1 or negative sign. Basically switches all these signs. All right, now keep the negative. I'll write it as a negative 1. And then I'm going to factor this. Now, if you're doing x, then that's what would be at your top and bottom. A is 1, so you do not have to do box. I'm just going to go ahead and factor this because I can see that 4 times 2, multiply to give me 8, add to give me 6. This sign is positive, so I know both of these are going to be the same sign. This tells me they're both going to be negative 4 and 2. And that's probably what you'd put in over here also. All right, so 3 things multiplied together equals 0. One of them must equal 0. We just assume all of them equal 0. This isn't true, so you ignore that. Solve for x. x equals 4 is one of my solutions, and x equals 2 is my other solution. Okay, so when you're finding solutions, you're factoring. That is, nope, we got one more type of problem. It is like the warm-up we did in class on Friday. And the other type of problem from 2-1 is when they ask you, it's like example 4, write an equation for a parabola when you're given the vertex and a point. So they tell me in this problem that the vertex is 1, 2, and the point they give me is 3, -6. Now, they also said write the standard form equation. So remember, this is what this textbook refers to as standard form. All right, so the great thing about standard form is this h and k are the vertex. So I know the vertex is 1, 2, so I can substitute in a 1 where the h is, and I can substitute a 2 in where the k is. They also gave me a point, so this is x and y. So I can substitute in x equals 3 where the x is, and remember y is the same as f of x. So f of x I can replace with this y value. Now I have an equation with one unknown, so I need to simplify this equation. 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 squared is 4. Subtract 2 from both sides. -8 equals 4a. A equals -2. Now go back and write your equation. So f of x equals, a is -2. X minus h is 1, squared plus k. So remember, when you're writing an equation, it has an x and a y in it, or an x and an f of x. Think of it as something you could type into your calculator under y equals. So those are your three or four types of problems for 2-1. Your formulas that you need to know are that, which we call standard form, and this one for axis of symmetry. And then when you're finding zeros or roots or solutions, that's when you're factoring.